Never in my life I thought I'd feel so much hate, anger and disdain for a whole grain product. I am bread. I mean, I'm not bread, but he most certainly is. In I Am Bread, you play as a sentient loaf of bread, sending out his sliced babies to literally drive a man insane, by the meaning of toasting self. I Am Bread is another game from Bossa Studios, which, if you don't know yet, made Surgeon Simulator and Cuvop, which, just like this game, are silly physics-based games with complex and counter-intuitive controls, to the point it would probably be easier to single-handedly pilot the Death Star with a finger up your ass. You are controlling a piece of bread that has only one life goal: become toast, by any means necessary, and by using anything you can find that emits heat, from toasters and barbecues to central heating, hair dryers and gas station explosions. Hardcore! The game recommends using a game controller, and that's exactly what I did, as I don't even want to imagine how confusing it must be to control a piece of bread with a keyboard. Your bread can latch onto surfaces and things with its corners when you hold down the shoulder buttons and use the analog stick to flop around like a flaccid wiener. Even more so if you play as the baguette. The controls are weird, but I think they work well. I mean, how else would you control a slice of bread? Awkward controls are a staple of Bossa Studios games. But I think they're one of the few game developers that get it. Even though the controls are weird, it's relatively easy to get used to them and master them. Everything in the game is built around these controls in mind, and they fit the theme. You could say it's Bossa Studios' bread and butter. Ha! But even though controls are easy to master, playing longer sessions on the controller left my hands tired and hurt from constantly holding the bumper buttons. But that is very subjective and is probably due to my way of handling the controller. The main dish is the story mode. Between each level, we get a little backstory in the form of a psychiatrist's note about his patient, the guy who bought you, and how he descends into pure madness over self-toasting bread. Each level is a different environment, which for the most part is a different room of the house you are in. I love the fact that you need to look around the level in the beginning and plan out your route, taking into consideration stuff you need to avoid and the distances in between resting points. You see, you have a limited grip. Yes, you can climb almost everything, but if you run out of grip, you better be sure you'll land on something that won't kill you. Because no one wants a toast from the ground, full of ants, soggy or moldy. Ugh. The more you're exposed to hazards, the more inedible you become. This can also lead to many frustrations, deaths, restarts and death threats towards whole grain products. #KillAllBread. Since this is a physics-based game, it's easy to miscalculate and misjudge your movements and fail. Or simply have the physics on some object behave unpredictable due to its nature, and knocking you off and you eating the ground. But do not fret. If you fail a few times, magic marmalade starts spawning on the level. It's basically a cheat code giving you unlimited grip and god mode if you want to get through the game but find it too hard. Even though the game got me quite mad a few times, I still enjoyed it. I enjoyed the level design, which basically had multiple ways of getting toasted and that it allowed me to traverse them in the way I wanted. Heck, you can just go straight through the floor if you're willing to sacrifice some edibility to shake off some time off the counter. I also found the story quite charming, even if simplistic. And if you're bored of the story mode, you can try the rampage mode with the baguette, the bagel race, cheese hunt or the 0G mode. Rampage mode is simple, destroy as much as possible. In this mode you play as the baguette, which only has 2 ripping points instead of 4. This mode didn't blow my mind really, it's just simple destroy as much things you can. The bagel race was a mode I really liked as the controls were pretty smooth, the level layouts changed and generally had a little different gameplay to it. Cheese hunt is, well, you hunting for cheese. 5 pieces of cheese that emit green smelly smoke? Ugh. You play as cracker bread, which controls like regular bread but is stiff instead of being floppy. It also has the edibility bar replaced with integrity. This time you're vulnerable to impact, fall from a great height or get crushed and your bread will crack into pieces. The zero G mode is just impossible. I absolutely have no idea what I'm doing. And when it comes to bread, that's about it. Basically, it's a fun little game, though it has its frustrating moments. If you enjoyed Surgeon Simulator, Q-Warp or Code Simulator, this might be right up your alley.